Alright, so this is just a quick video on how you can recap your POR15 and save anything you have left over without it going to waste. There's a lot of really good videos out there about using POR15, the results you get, some of the tips along the way, etc. That's all been covered really good, so I didn't see any reason to rehash that. One of the things I noticed very common in a lot of the videos is that people commonly noted that if you don't use up the whole can, they're not resealable, that you can't get them open again later. I mean, it seems like common sense, but people, you know, what you could do to save the stuff you have, but people have commented on that consistently. In fact, one guy even made a complete video about how what he does is pour it into a plastic container, you know, so the lid's all clean, and reseal it, and then he puts duct tape around that so UV can't get to it, because UV tends to damage the POR15, the rust preventative. They recommend you have a top coat over it if you're going to have any direct sunlight exposure. I top coat it anyways, whether it does or doesn't, just for peace of mind. So a couple of things, you know, again, the obvious part to me that I thought seemed obvious, but after looking at it, I can see where people might go wrong a little bit, and you could probably save yourself some money by buying the bigger cans, and people tend to buy these smaller cans. These are just 16-ounce cans or a pint, and stuff's not cheap. You know, this top coat is $27.64 where I bought it. And you know, it varies a few bucks, and the POR15 is even more. That tag's not on there, but I know it was considerably more, close to 40 bucks, I think, high 30s for that rust preventative coating. Anyways, so I'll get to it here. I don't mean to keep rambling on about this, but just wanted to make sure that I put all the disclaimers in there about, you know, not discrediting anything anybody else is doing, but it can be done, and you know, that's not my purpose. My purpose is to show you that it can be done and prove that, so maybe you feel better about buying a bigger can, or knowing that you can save any leftover stuff. It just takes some time, and it should be the first thing you do. You know, when you open a can like this, just like paint, you know, you want to wipe that off. This one actually, I let dry and put the can, but it was empty. Well, there's a little bit in there still, but that was a whole nother issue. But I let it dry, the lid as well, didn't clean it off, put it back on, and I was able to get that lid back off. So here nor there, that's, I guess, irrelevant because that was dry. It's closing it when you still got some tacky stuff on there. But I wanted to show you what one typically looks like when you open it. You know, after you mixed it and got a little sloppy, poured some. But the very first thing you do when you get this open, or after you pour some, is clean that really good. And it's even more important to clean off this lid, not just here, and not just, you know, here, but you got to really get into that groove right there. That's the main thing, because anything that settles in that groove, and you can see some in there, I don't know, in the groove there. When you put that, even if you got that spotless, you got this spotless, you got this spotless, there's any in that little groove there, as soon as you put that back on there, that's making contact with this lip, and if it's tacky, over time it's going to dry, and you're not going to be able to open it again. So you got to clean it just as soon as you open that thing. I mean, you can just use paper towels on there. I didn't need any solvent or water, even though cleanup recommends solvent, you know, for spills and things of that nature. But to just wipe this off, it's just paper towels is all I use. And I'll show you these other ones. I'm going to prove, you know, these have been closed for a good month plus, and I'll prove that I can get the cap off both of them. You know, this one was an empty one. I was just going to prove that, you know, I felt there's a bit of difference in the consistency between this and this. They both recommend solvent cleanup, but when it was wet, this seemed to be like I could do a little bit of a water cleanup, you know, under the faucet kind of cleanup, but this not so much. I don't know the exact ingredients. I'm sure there's a formula difference in the two, but anyways, I'll just show you here real quick. You know, this one here been closed over a month. Look at that. Not a problem. Comes right off just like it's brand new. And there's, see, you know, that's how well it got cleaned before I closed it. And again, in that groove is the most important part to get. I mean, it's all important, but that's the part most easily neglected. And, you know, and you should be able to push that back on with your hand. I'm wearing gloves just in case, just because anytime you get a little bit of this stuff on you, you end up wearing it for days. Now this is, I don't know, a third to half full can of leftover POR15. I'm not tilting it because I don't want to get slop on the lid after I open it. I have to clean it again. I just want to show you how easy it opens, just like a brand new can. There's no reason you can't reseal these. And you know, when I kept hearing that, I'm like, well, I wonder what's so exotic about this stuff. Look at that. Clean. It's actually half full still. You'll notice I have gray, and I called the, and I'll seal this up again real quick. I called the manufacturer because just before I was going to apply it, I thought I was being smart. I don't know, growing up, anytime people primered stuff, cars especially, you'd always see gray was very common. Black as well, flat black, flat gray, but gray was common. I don't know what my thought process was, that maybe I was going to see where I put it and make sure I had good coverage with the top coat instead of putting black on black. So I was concerned for a minute because when I went on the website, I saw that it had said something about for concrete use. The gray is designed for concrete use. And I called and they said, nope, absolutely same formula, not a problem. It's just a color difference. People prefer, you know, gray on gray concrete. And I said, all right, thanks, moving on. So I continued with that anyways. And then I put the top coat over it. But anyways, that's hopefully it's helpful to somebody, some of you out there, save some money and know that you can save this. And again, the most important thing that I would recommend is clean it immediately. Don't, you know, just take a few minutes for what this stuff costs. It's worth that few minutes of effort. So hopefully that saves you some money, and you can maybe buy bigger cans, which are cheaper in, you know, volume, obviously. And hopefully your project turns out good. I'm happy with how mine turned out. And I definitely use it again and recommend the product for sure. We'll see over time how well it holds up and everything. I haven't really had it on long enough on this particular project to see what the longevity of it is, but I've had it on other stuff, light duty jobs. This is more of a heavy duty job. This is on a motorhome, and it had some hard to reach areas and a lot of descaling to do prep work prior to, and so we'll see how some of those heavier areas hold up. But I'm confident it'll be pretty good. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and the results I've got from previous projects has been good. So regardless, it's protected and will inhibit further rusting and or damage, at least keep it at bay somewhat. And then down the road, if I need to apply a little bit more, well then so be it. It's much easier than trying to fix, you know, frame rot and stuff like that. If you live in a place where that could be a problem. I don't, but you know, you salt on the streets, so it's a nice thing. But the vehicle that I picked up came from an area that I believe did have that, just by looking at it. So I wanted to get on it before it got too much worse. Anyways, I'm just babbling here. Again, hopefully that was helpful. Clean it right away. If it gets tacky on you and you're having trouble cleaning it, get some solvent. But I feel confident that you're going to be able to put that lid back on and come back whenever and open that can right up just like it was new. As long as you clean it and make it look like it was new, there is no reason that lid should stick on and not come off again in the future. So anyways, good luck. Thanks for watching.